Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hashtag NBA.
Well, we have breaking news on the LeBron James front. Wait, hold on. I'm being told it's just a mistake. Oops. The Miami Heat posted a link on the official team. Was it website or social media? Doesn't really matter. Either way, I think it's website. Oh, it's YouTube. It's YouTube. You're right. And LeBron James press conference, July 27th. Hey, the news here isn't that he's going to Miami. The news here is he's holding on to this till July 27th? 5 more days? Come on.
He just needs to make a decision already.
Monday? Make a decision before then. Now, maybe he has. Maybe it's Miami, and maybe this is their cover story. They're lying. They're spinning it. Or they really did make a mistake. They were really trying to prep something. But doesn't July 27th seem pretty specific? They know more than they're letting on. But does that mean they're getting him? It's not really what I'm rooting for. I just think Cleveland and Philly would be the most interesting. Maybe Miami can make some great run and they'd be in the mix and that'd be great. But Giannis doesn't play a lot of basketball. Lowry Markkanen thinks Giannis doesn't play a lot of basketball. And at least Lowry can say, hey, it wasn't me. They were tanking. Milwaukee wasn't tanking. Giannis only played 36 games last year, and he's been averaging low to mid-60s. I think he's had one season. He's played 70 since the pandemic. Giannis is going to miss a lot of games. Is he going to be healthy for the playoffs? A lot of ifs there. Do they have enough shooting? There's another if. And does it really matter? Is he really going there? LeBron, I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, though. Because all this talk about the GOAT, which I don't buy because I'm of the generation of watching Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't lose. LeBron was awesome. LeBron has carried super mediocre teams deep into the playoffs. And he's won titles with 3 different clubs. And he's had an awesome career. But MJ, that guy. You go 25-1 in your last 26 playoff series with the Bulls, you have my full attention. You can draw it out more. He was 28-2. Phenomenal. But now LeBron's going to have a chip on his shoulder because he's not the first active player to have his own exhibit in the Hall of Fame. No. That's Steph Curry. So LeBron's got something to prove. Steph Curry, greatest shooter ever. They need more people showing up at the old Hall of Fame there in Springfield, which I have been to. I went back when Jerry Sloan was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Actually went in the same year as John Stockton. Sloan's speech was unforgettable. Stockton's fine. But Sloan, that guy, you could hear a pin drop in the hall, and I think he was stopping traffic out on the street. People want to know, who is this guy? I've watched him. I've seen him. Incredible bursts of temper. His teams always win. Never quite got over the top and won the championship, but they were in the mix for so long. And then he stuck it out after Stockton alone and built another really good group. Who is this guy? And he started telling his story, and he's talking about playing basketball on dirt courts, co-ed basketball, because there weren't enough boys to play 5-on-5. And then he started talking about women's basketball and where it should go. And I think he would look at it at where it's gone since he passed away. And he would say, well, yeah, of course. And he would look at the stars that are coming in the league now and think, Yeah. Okay. This was inevitable. The game was going to get better. It was going to evolve, just like the NBA evolved in his lifetime. Hall of Fame, the one problem with it, though, it's in a mall. It doesn't feel special. I mean, I walked past a Burger King. I went in through the doors. Burger King was on the left. I went down the super wide hallway with moms pushing strollers. There was some other kind of store in there. I don't remember what it was. And then you got to the doors of the Hall of Fame and you went in. It was nice. There's some good stuff in there. I'm a basketball fan and a little bit of historian, so I enjoyed the exhibits and all that. I haven't been to the Baseball Hall of Fame. My brother lived near football, so that got me there the first time, and I did get to go back when Steve Young got inducted. And they've made some improvements to football. It could be better. I think the NFL wants to take it over. I think they're letting the nonprofit do their own thing. It's struggling along. It needs some of the stuff in football is pretty cool, but it could use a little more of an upgrade. The other note, we'll do the WNBA note since I just mentioned it here. So All-Star Weekend, 3-point shootout. What is this, the NBA dunk contest? Everybody want to see in the dunk contest isn't in the dunk contest. Now everybody want to see in the 3-point shootout isn't going to be in the 3-point shootout. The leagues have got to set this up to get their best players doing it or just stop doing it. It's a waste of time. LeBron James is apparently working on a 25-year career because whatever he signs, apparently it's going to be multiple year. And so he's played 23. This is 24 coming up. He signs a multi-year deal. He's going to play a quarter of a century. A quarter of a century and he's never in the dunk contest once? LeBron, one time. 2 times. Something. Throw me a crumb here. So now you got Caitlin Clark. This, I think, is her 3rd year, and she's going to miss the dunk contest for, let me count, the 3rd time. All right. Seems like a good idea. We got someone shooting logo threes. Nobody would want to watch that. There's nothing that would hint at me I'd want to see that. What are you doing? And I've read the stuff about, like, there's too many, you got to shake too many hands, you got to meet too many people, there's too many companies with parties, and they're running around from one sponsor party to another. And I get all that. It's a business weekend. These things are for corporate America. The days of PK rolling up as a 12-year-old and getting in, the days of my dad winning a lottery and taking 3 of us and sitting in right field in San Diego and watching the All-Star game in '78. Yeah, those days are gone. That's not happening. We were lucky. We were fortunate. Now it is corporate America writing big, big checks. It's the way things go. The more popular things get, the more we get priced out. We got another example of that coming up later in this segment. But come on, man, get your stars out there. Let us at least watch them on TV. And it's not just Caitlin Clark. I just don't want to bag on her. Probably the second person you want to see in that is Sabrina Ionescu. And she's the one who was in the team 3-point shootout when they did the partners, they did the pairs, and she was teamed with Steph Curry. Everybody knew people wanted to see her. That's why they found a way in a format to get her to the NBA All-Star game to promote the WNBA. Yeah, she's not doing it either. So, okay, great. I'll move on. I'll watch something else. DJ and PK.
#NFL.
What's up with the backflip and Scatterboo? What was your reaction when you saw that on your timeline?
Oh, my reaction when I saw it on my phone?
Yeah.
My reaction was I haven't talked to him yet. I'm going to talk to him, I'm sure. But my reaction was this, dude, at least stick it. You know what I mean? Land the thing if you're going to do it. You know, that was my first reaction. So, you know, Scat's going to be ready to go. And he's been working super hard. He's really been training like crazy, and his mind is on camp. You know, he's healthy, he's ready to roll, and I can't wait to see him out there at practice.
Yeah, that's not a great idea, and the coach can't exactly say it like that, but he can give him a little stick, and then he can say it like that in private. He probably won't say it in public. But I think that whole point about Scatterby being healthy, the bigger point here is 24 years old. All right, he's not always going to make decisions. He's going to. I don't think he'll be doing that in 3 years. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's just wired different. He's from Rio Linda. I don't know what to tell you. I lived in Sacramento. Rio Linda, that's not an easy way out. It certainly wasn't an easy path. You need to beg, borrow, and finally get invited to Sac State and then blow up there and then go to Arizona State and blow up there and then go to the Giants and again take the world by storm. So he's going to do things his own way. He's not someone who's been coddled. People who are coddled do not come from Rio Linda. Rio Linda is, I don't even think there's a good comparison in Utah. I mean, maybe some combination of, I guess, West Valley, Magna. You know, if he were Cypress, Hunter, Granger kid, I guess maybe kind of. Rio Linda's so hot and flat. So, driving down, here's one story from Rio Linda. They do, for whatever reason, have one venue there that they had like the National Youth Water Ski Championships, middle of summer in Sacramento. There's nothing going on. They didn't even have AAA baseball when I was there. And so we're driving down the street. So a lot of things you can see, you know, as you get close, it's big. You can see it. Obviously, it's water skiing. It's flat. There's nothing to see. So we're driving down the address. The thing is hidden. There's stuff on the road. It's kind of blocked. I'm looking to the right. The photographer's looking to the left. There's nobody on this road. I mean, really, in the middle of nowhere. Magna, West, they're not good comparisons. It'd be more like if they were like 15 miles west of Grantsville. But just Magna. You can't take all of West Valley and Kearns and Taylorsville and be connected. You can't be connected. You got to be isolated and hot and flat. And socioeconomic issues and, you know, some poverty mixed in. And so we're driving down this road, and all of a sudden we hear this huge noise. And the photographer brakes, and I'm scared. And it did that noise. It was loud. It was kind of metallic. Whoa, did we hit another car? There wasn't enough force. What just happened? And we look up, and there's nothing in front of us. Hey, what just happened? We hit something. Something hit us. There's nothing. Is this alien technology and it zoomed off at 20 billion miles an hour? What just happened? And the photographer stops the car, and this guy's not rattled. John Pavlovich does not get rattled. He gets out of the car. So I'm going to do whatever John Pavlovich does. He's the man. I get out of the car, walk around in front, one metal folding chair in the middle of the road. We hit it. He wouldn't look where he's going. He's crawling along like 6 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour, going super slow. And there was nobody on the road, so you didn't feel like you had to look out. There was nobody in any of the yards. It wasn't like anybody was going to run in front of us. I mean, there were homes, but it was just dead quiet. That's real, Linda. Somebody left a metal folding chair in the middle of the road. Why?
And you happen to hit it.
None of your business. Why do you need it? Yeah, and we hit it. It's a stationary object. That's how long we weren't looking at the road. We finally found the water ski place. That took a little while. The real story with Scatterboo and the Giants is there's always a team that goes worst to first, and you never think it's going to happen because they were really bad. But it always happens in the NFL, and it's a combination of you get an easier schedule. It's a combination of you get a little healthier. Maybe you make a couple key acquisitions. Some young guys get experience, maybe better quarterback play. A lot of those things could happen in New York, and they got a coach who's a winner. Now, Harbaugh doesn't have the streak Tomlin has of having winning records, but he's pretty close. And when he hasn't, it's usually been injury-driven. So they got a good coach coming in, and the coaching there, it's mostly been first-timers and sketchy and trying to figure it out. This, to me, feels a lot like his brother going to Los Angeles for the Chargers. Like, there was a quarterback in place, and his brother knows how to win. And they've been hiring a bunch of first-time coaches who are trying to figure it out, going cheap, and it never worked, or it never quite worked, or it never even came close to working. And finally, they got sick and tired, and they paid the money for a proven winner. And they're going to come in, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to win. Maybe not to the highest level, but they're going to win more than they lose. So I think the Giants could take a big step forward here. But they got to have their guys, and they got to be healthy. And the other worst to first team, and this is cheating, Detroit Lions. Hutchinson, healthy, right? They were 9-8 last year. That's not exactly a last-place team, so look out. They don't have that far to go. With 3 or 4 more games, you can win the division. Lions Sam Porta back. Problems fully cleared for training camp, so that's good news for Detroit. Dolphins give all-pro linebacker Jordan Brooks a 3-year, $51 million extension. I don't know what happened to football in South Florida, but at both the college and the pro level, if you are old enough to remember the 20th century, holy cow, football was awesome. The Dolphins won 2 Super Bowls in the 70s, went to 3, had their perfect season. Were back in the Super Bowl twice in the 80s and lost. Shula was there. They brought in Marino. I mean, the Dolphins were just almost nonstop excellence. Occasionally, they'd miss the playoffs, but they had a bunch of really good teams. And in college, Miami was just average in the 70s when San Diego State beat them. And then took off in the 80s, starting with the takedown in Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, and they had 25 great years. We got to the 21st century, and I don't know what happened to those two. Now, Miami last year finally looked like they were back after a quarter century. The Canes. The Dolphins, All they're doing this year, they just signed all-pro linebacker Jordan Brooks, 3 years, $51 million. They're starting to identify their core and say these are the core guys we're going to build around. They have a gazillion dollars in dead cap money they're paying to players who aren't on the roster anymore. So this year's lost. They're going to suck. If your team plays the Dolphins, it better be a W, or you let it get away, and you will regret that when your team misses the playoffs or is on the road in the playoffs or is playing a team and you think, oh, we should be playing an easier opponent here. Yeah, well, win the Dolphin game because this is a major rebuild for them. And they got to pull it together. 25 years of nothingness out of those guys. All right, DJ and PK.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
Hashtag college football.
I've actually been saying that for a long time to our president and our administrators that, my frustration is I sit in a meeting and so many times I sit in a meeting, and I learned this, I think 11 years ago, my first SEC head coaches meeting. I had a coach tell me, we will not get anything done in these meetings because we don't have any power or any control. We sit and say what we want, but that doesn't necessarily come to fruition. So I've learned that, until we get governance and we have someone that actually has the power to make decisions, or we can make decisions within our own community, we're not going to have much control. And that's unfortunate, but that's where we sit right now. And if that's the best alternative to get everybody playing by the same rules, then I would want to do that.
That's Kirby Smart doubling down on the SEC breaking away. Okay, it's going to be a lost decade, and the whole rest of the athletic department's going to hate you. But you knock yourself out, because if you pull away, I'm going to be surprised if you get to pull away in just football. And you want to win in basketball. You've invested in basketball. And I know you want to win in baseball because you win the thing all the time. Seems like you got, depending on the year, anywhere from 3 to 6 teams of the 8 in the College World Series. And you dominate women's gymnastics. And you don't play that many sports, but the sports you play, you dominate in. Women's basketball. Yeah, South Carolina, you're not invited to the NCAA tournament. I don't know why the NCAA would take that. All right, if you're out, you're out. Fine. We're not inviting you. Bye. All in favor? Aye. Everybody voted yes, except for you. SEC, you voted no. What are you still doing here? You just quit. You don't get to vote no. Get out. And maybe it's some kind of leverage, and this is to scare lawmakers, and they would never do it. That is the only reason to be talking like this. And it really does come down to lawmakers, because the NCAA, as much as make fun of them, they're losing so many court cases, and all comes back to you're acting like a monopoly. You don't get to do that. Anti-trade, antitrust, blah, 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 and then you lose. Again and again, wash, rinse, repeat. Hey, look, there's a court case with the NCAA. I bet they lose. I bet this Poly Market stuff, I don't know who Poly is, and I don't know why he's running a market. But anyway, I think Poly Market, I know who Poly is. I watch the Rocky films. All the Poly Market stuff, I don't even think they should let you bet. They shouldn't let you bet on NCAA cases. The odds have to be like, you got to bet $10,000 to make one. I mean, why else would you let people bet on that kind of stuff? It's a slam dunk. They're going to lose. The other Georgia news, this just keeps happening to Georgia. Now, this was a little different, but Georgia and motorized vehicles, running back Dante Dowdle, hospitalized after an ATV accident. Ran the ball for Kentucky, expected to be, if not part of a committee, maybe the guy, but he was going to have a big role with Georgia carrying the ball. Ran for over 500 yards, 3 scores last year at Kentucky. ATV accident. Kirby Smart's take on this is he's through the worst of it, which I took to mean it's not life-threatening now, but maybe at one point they were worried about that. But there are major injuries, including some spinal injuries, and Kirby Smart is like, no idea when he plays football. He's just got to get healthy. That's got to be the number one focus. And then after that, then we can decide about football. So I don't know if there's issues with him walking. The health updates, the information's limited, but it sounds bad. And Georgia, after a ton of collisions, crashes, high-speed incidents, now it's an ATV, which, we know from the news around here, those can be dangerous. High center of gravity, and, you're on bumpy surfaces riding them off-road or whatever, and they can go over. Vanderbilt, they don't need the next quarterback to perform like Diego Pavia. Agree to disagree. I don't know what to tell you. Vanderbilt's been tougher. I do give Vanderbilt, I've said this before, I give Vanderbilt a lot of credit. They could have cheated like everybody else in the SEC, and they didn't. And they weren't paying players like everybody else was paying players. And so they lost a lot, consistently. Hi, we're Vanderbilt. We're last in the league. Get to the NIL era, bang, hi, we're Vanderbilt. We won 9 games. How about that? You want 3 more hours of this? I don't think you do. Go find Arkansas if you want a cupcake. But now Pavia's gone, and, unless you got Kyle Whittingham coaching your team, working around mediocre quarterback play is hard. Kyle, mediocre quarterback play, 9 wins. Good quarterback play, conference title game, maybe Rose Bowl. But not everybody works around it the way Kyle did. Alex Golish, the new coach at Auburn, says his goal is to return Auburn football to national relevance. Well, that's good, because if you don't do that, you're going to get fired. It turns out that's everybody's goal at Auburn. What's the line from Mad Men? That's what the money's for. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Crawford's caught between third and home. The throw to Rushing. He runs down the line, pumps a throw, gives it to Betts. Crawford is tagged. Runner between second and third. Rio Muto. He's caught up the bag. He's out at second. And the ball game is over. That's a win for L.A.
And thank you for some terrible base running.
The pitch is drilled deep to right. Racing back now. Jerry at the wall. Gone! Pinch hit. 2-run home run for Michael Conforto.
Ball, and that's it high in the air and deep to left field, and you can kiss that one goodbye. Off the community leader's side, 3-run home run, Isaac Paredes, and a 5-1 lead for the Astros.
Astros go on to beat the Marlins 5-3. Notable because the Marlins, the playoff team in the National League, the break, they restarted after the All-Star break, and nobody notified the Marlins. They are 0-5 since the All-Star break. Now, to be fair, we can't blame it on the All-Star break. They lost their last 3 before the All-Star break. They've dropped 8 in a row, which is good because my Padres have some work to do to get back in the playoff picture. We could use some help from the Marlins. Hey, you guys feel like making that 18 in a row? I can sign off on that. I'll co-sign that, especially because the Padres are going there next. Padres won. Are they starting to hit, or is it just the law of numbers, as Matt Harpering once said? They're in Matt Harpering's town. They're in Atlanta. Padres beat the Braves 8-3. Home runs from guys who haven't been hitting home runs. Number 8 for Fernando Tatis Jr. took forever. He changed his batting style. I haven't read it. My guess is he's changed some stuff back. Hey, I don't have a home run, and it's July. Can we stop with the spring training changes? Because they're not working. Or maybe they're finally working. Either way, he's got 8 home runs now. He had a 474-foot home run. They cleared the bleachers and landed on the concourse up on top, which in Atlanta, it looks a little bit like Colorado. If you're not familiar with the Atlanta ballpark and you know Colorado, it's a long way. And Manny Machado homered twice as well. And those guys have not been hitting. So they got to go and they beat the Braves 8-3. The game I really cared about yesterday, Red Sox, you're going to do 14 in a row? The answer is no, you are not. You're not going to play any baseball at all. Postpone the weather. Baltimore and Boston will try again and have to be made up. Yankees and Pirates, same deal. They got rained out as well. You heard the base running blunder there. Yeah, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenally. See, when there's a rundown, a runner gets off, the guys who are behind, the guy who's in a pickle, are supposed to take the base so you don't give up the base, and then you just accept the out. But JT Realmuto, catcher, apparently not known for his base running, on third base is a second and third, 1 out. It's 2-1. It's a 1-run game, right? Dodgers win 2-1. 9th inning, bottom of the 9th. They've got the tying run at third. They got the winning run at second. Sharp ground to third. Runner at third gets caught off the bag. He's in a rundown. Realmuto takes third. That was the good. That was the good part of the base running. But then, for some reason, he decided to try to run back to second. I don't know why, because his teammate wasn't getting out of that rundown, so what did it matter? Hold on to third base. Maybe you'll score on a wild pitch or a pass ball. Maybe an error, just a bobbled ball, an infield single. Who knows? Nope, he headed back for second, and that gave him enough time to throw him out at second after they ended the rundown. So they got a double play, and they got out of there, and that was terrible base running. Dodgers win 2-1. You know who might sneak in and who might be unbearable if it happens? Watch out for those Diamondbacks. I think PK had co-signed that 18-game losing streak for Miami if they want to sign up for that. Diamondbacks win again. They beat the Athletics 6-5. Athletics were playing 500 ball. They were in the playoff race. Yeah, not anymore. Done. Toasted. Done and dusted. They're like 15 games under 500 now. Diamondbacks win. The Bees got beat. Omaha beat them 9-8 at the ballpark. Same two teams tonight. Listen to the game right here on The Zone. 6:35. All right. DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
Real Salt Lake back in action tonight. The World Cup break is over. They will be playing LAFC. It'll be a shorthanded RSL team. No Justin Glad. He's been out about 8 weeks. Now they think he might be out at least another month, maybe 2. So that's not good. That's not good at all. 5 guys for 3 spots in the back. It's getting a little thin here, and they're going to play 2 games this week. They play tonight in L.A., and then they're in Portland. And then they got 8 games in August. It adds up to like 10 games in 40 days, unless they win in advance in the League's Cup, in which case quarterfinals, game number 11. Yay, more games. They're missing Emeka Nelly. Aiden Hazarkani broke his toe, so he's out. So you're hitting a stretch where you're basically playing twice a week. You're going to need 21 guys probably to get through this. Maybe you squeak through with 18 or 19, but you probably need 21 guys. The goalkeeper could play every game. The other guys are going to need rotation and subs at some point. I mean, not everybody will play the same amount of time. You won't split it evenly, but nonetheless, these other guys are going to have to produce. And you got a 30-man roster, and you got a couple open spots, and now 3 guys are hurt. And if you're thinking, the numbers aren't going to add up there, DJ, I don't know a lot about soccer. You're right. The numbers might not add up there. Have a couple more injuries, especially at positions where they already have injuries. That's going to be a problem. So, and LAFC tends to be a problem. They're currently trailing RSL in the standings. RSL 3rd in the West. We'll see if RSL can pick up where they left off. They've had issues with this when they've hit the League's Cup break the last few years, and it hasn't always been the same issue, but it's been the same results, as in not as good as the stuff before the break. Stuff before the break was good. They can keep going at that pace. They got something. But games are coming fast and furious now. The injuries are adding up, and I think it's a real question mark where they're going to have the depth to handle it. Depth shouldn't be an issue tonight. This is something that'll wear on you 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of this stuff. Tonight, LAFC, a team that they have struggled with big time, but we'll see if they're better equipped to handle them tonight. 8:30, first kick right here on The Zone. Mentioned the World Cup break is over. The final numbers are in. 61.5 million viewers for the World Cup final. That's a lot of viewers. That's AFC and NFC title games, which really only get beat on TV by the Super Bowl, tend to be in the mid to high 40s, 46, 47, 48 million, something like that. A really big conference title game, like when the Bills played the Chiefs a couple of years ago, that was 57 million. So 61 is an enormous number. Now, can you sustain it? And does the World Cup equal watching, your domestic league, the league in your country? In some countries it does. In this one, typically it does not. So how many of those people are going to sample it and like it and fall in love with it? It's up to Major League Soccer to capitalize on that. Messi's going to miss the first couple games, but how many of the best players can you get? Like you want to get eyeballs on your sport. Salary cap's great, but people have got to use those designated player spots aggressively and get stars. LA bringing in Son brought eyeballs. That guy is very popular in Asia, wildly popular in South Korea, and he's been a really good player for LAFC. I think he leads them in assists. And obviously Messi in Miami. But celebrity sells, and the World Cup has it, and MLS has it sporadically in spots. So we'll see if they cut loose, and if it leads to another round of signing. They're flip-flopping their schedule. So the season's going to start in the fall and end in the winter. This will be the last time they have the playoffs during the NFL season. And that's supposed to help them sign more players. So we'll see if they can capitalize on this going forward. Because 61.5, that's a huge number, the best anyone could have hoped for. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
And speaking of the best anyone could have hoped for, I don't think John Marino was expecting any more than that. Max contract extension, by definition, can't expect more than that. 8 years, $54 million. He is the prototypical Bill Armstrong defenseman. 6'1", 200, 29 years old. and a guy who's had to grind. He was not one of these pretty boy first-round draft picks, guaranteed, can't miss. Oh, boy, can't wait. No, he was a sixth-rounder. Yeah, all right, we'll draft you, go to work, and hopefully you turn into something. Well, he has, so congrats to him. He's 29, and he just signed an 8-year deal for $54 million. So obviously there's some risk for the club at the end of that, but that tells you how he's playing right now because Bill Armstrong will squeeze a buck, and he offered up 8 years and $54 million to sign Marino. All right, DJ and PK, there you go. That's what's trending. There are your headlines. Stay with us. Question of the day is coming up next. Segment sponsored by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing.